We're with Coach Gundy as the Cowboys get ready to face the Kansas State Wildcats in Manhattan. It's interesting because Saturday was really hot. South Dakota State, a tough opponent. Arkansas, a tough opponent. Another pretty warm day. Tulsa on the road. You're coming off a very, taxing game, and for that matter, 4 pretty taxing games. What have you done this week to make sure the guys are recovered? Because this has been a little unusual based on what some previous Septembers have been like.
It has been, but we've proceeded as normal. We've went ahead and pushed them. We haven't cut back any practice. One of the reasons is because the temperatures dropped. The players actually feel like they're getting a break. So much of this is mental. Now, there is some science behind the steps and the wear and tear on their body, and they've been at it for 58 days in a row. But the improvements and the corrections that we needed to make outweigh cutting back at this time. I'm going to adjust the next week's schedule, but not this week's schedule.
Gotcha. Is there any strength of this offense that people may not know about that we haven't seen yet that's close to just showing up and taking off?
Our offense needs to have balance, and as coaches, we're responsible for learning each week and making adjustments and trying to improve. Good football teams improve each week, and they play better in Game 10 than they do in Game 3. What I'm seeing is that if teams are going to challenge us the way they are, then we have to throw more passes. Even though we have the returning Doak Walker winner, it may be difficult at times to get them the ball. The only way you can do that is if you play with a minimum of 2 and sometimes 3 tight ends based on the way people are defending us at this time, and that's not really what we're trying to get accomplished in our system.
Right.
So what that means is we have to have more balance.
How much does it help Alvin Bowman coming off a tough game like that he's played for 7 years and he's older, to be able to just process that the right way and get ready for this week?
He should handle last week's game much better than a young player. And it was interesting. I was talking to Gunner, my son, this week, and one of the things that he talked about is when you've been at this level for a long time, you understand how to handle things much differently. That's the comment that you want to hear, in that you learn and realize that, okay, here's where the mistakes were made. This is what I can do to make it better. The other stuff I can't worry about.
Right.
And I'm hoping that Bowman feels the same way.
Trey Rucker had 2 interceptions in the game last week. Mm-hmm. He's now he continues to be among the national leaders in tackles. Is the jump he's made just consistency? Is that where he's taken a significant jump, is just the consistency of high-level play? 2
things. I think that he is really tuned in and wants to have a great final year of college football, which makes all the difference in the world. That the commitment that these players have to make to themselves first and then the team second. It's the old saying that if you can't lead yourself, you're not going to be able to lead anybody else. And he's really committed to being a better football player, and then I think he's got a little bit more of a comfort zone in the system, and he feels comfortable out there understanding what to do and how to get there really fast.
So Kansas State's your opponent. You'll be seeing a true 3-man front for the first time. What's that matchup like against their defense, and what will be different in terms of sort of the give and take offensively?
Football is still a numbers game. Ultimately, if we have 6 guys that can block, they'll either going to have 6.5 guys to stop us or 7. Even though it's just a 3 down instead of a 4 down, there'll be another guy standing there. But there is an adjustment with the 3 down. In my opinion, the biggest adjustment is you have a nose guard playing directly over your center, and we haven't seen that this year. They've been more of a shade. So there's an adjustment there. And then understanding the tackles are going to play with the defensive lineman over them, and then the next guy is going to be standing up out there behind him because he's not on the line of scrimmage.
So defensively, you face Avery Johnson, who I believe is in the top 10, if not top 5 in the country in scrambles. He's really good taking off and running it. Very talented. What's the key to making sure that you keep him from doing a lot of damage with his feet in those scramble type situations?
So do a good job of mixing up coverages, schemes, pass rushes, twist, and then having pass rush lane responsibility. In that you can't just take off and go after him. You have to be in proximity to a 4-man rush or a 5-man rush, meaning if you open up creases and create a lot of air and windows, he can step up and take off. So we've worked on this the last few weeks and actually have gotten better on it. We dropped it last week one time, and the quarterback ran for 38 yards, 32 yards, something like that. With him, you really have to understand proximity when you're rushing so you don't get out of your lanes.
We'll be back with you next week to review the Kansas State game and preview West Virginia. Thanks for watching.